Welcome back, everyone. This is an extra special episode. We are at the Big 5-0.
The Mookie
Unbelievable.
Betts episode.
Yes, we are
Had to
at
get that in there.
the Caleb Swanigan episode, the Justin Houston episode. What a time to be alive,
The
everyone.
Ernest Jones episode, if you're a
Yes, the
Rams
Ernest
fan.
Jones, the Monday Night Football legend, Ernest Jones.
Yes,
So
sir.
we are very grateful for those that have stuck around, that have watched even one episode. If you've watched all 50, we appreciate it. If we've watched 2 episodes, we appreciate it. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Splash, and with my friend Jack, I got it right on the direction for like the 5th episode in a row.
Am I doing it right? Yes, we are. Let's go.
Yes. Gang. What a time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 50. And Christmas is around the corner. It's an exciting time. It is an exciting time. Football is happening. Hockey is not happening. Basketball is throwing its arms up in the air. Baseball isn't happening. Sports may be on pause or disintegrating in front of our eyes. Hint, hint, the Ravens. But it's also Christmas time. So happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure. There's a lot going on to talk about. The NFL had a pretty wild week again. We did have some eliminations as of late. I don't think that was this week, but there was still.
We have one team that's booked their playoff spots.
Yes.
And fun fact, the Cowboys can clinch tonight if the Eagles and Washington tie. So if you want a rooting interest tonight, you got to root for a tie in the R words and Eagles game. So if you think there's going to be a tie there, root for a tie, and then you can anoint the Cowboys as NFC East champions. I actually got that wrong. I picked Washington preseason. So
yeah, I think we thought Washington was going to be a lot. They were going to build off of their
and it's just the
interesting
defense,
run last year.
The defense wasn't like doing anything. We'll touch on the game later, but the defense just wasn't the same for most of the season, and now it's like, okay, well, they're finally figuring it out, and now they have Garrett Gilbert starting at quarterback. So you're like, well, Garrett Gilbert isn't very good at the whole football thing, but are the Eagles that good? I happen to think the Eagles are halfway decent at the whole football thing. Who knows? So, yes, and do keep in touch with us. We are trying to juggle several shows tonight. We might have a bowl show, we might have a fantasy show, and Jack and I may have one football night with uSTADIUM stream. We might have 2, so just keep an eye on it. Download the uSTADIUM app if you're not already on it. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram at uSTADIUM. We even have a TikTok. I believe it's still uSTADIUM. So we will let you know. You will see on our YouTube. Make sure you ring a ding ding that Le'Veon bell, that Joik bell, those holiday bells at this point of the year, and see if we go live at 7:00. We'd like to go live. We'd like to have 3 or 4 shows tonight, but logistically we may only have 1 or 2. So we will keep in touch with that. Jack and I are going to talk after the show, but there you go. Big night in football, 2 games on, both at 7:00. So check your local listings to see which game is on your TV. And if you have DirecTV and you have NFL Sunday Ticket, you will be able to get the other one. It's like channel 711 and channel 714. So,
or I guess if you have NFL Game Pass, maybe that'll work too. That's my assumption. I don't know.
I think
how that works.
I think it works for international audiences, but like mine is an American one, so I can't watch the game live. I can only watch it afterwards. So I don't know. It's weird. We'll touch on it. We'll touch on the games in a little bit, but we have our top segment, as always, takes. So
yes,
I will pull up the hot take-o-meter, and we will get it rocking and rolling today. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful Tuesday, December 21st. I think it should be the winter solstice, right?
It is, I think, actually.
Longest night of the year. Exciting times. So it's going to be dark from this angle. So if you can't see my face in about an hour, don't worry about it. You probably aren't here to see my face anyways. That's okay. I understand. I totally understand. I totally get it. It's all okay. I understand. Deep down, I get it as well. So, have you ever wanted to earn money with your sports takes? Well, here at uSTADIUM, we have a takes function on the app. You're going to love it. It is a new way to cash out on your sports predictions. You can turn your points into cash eventually, but here's how it goes. So you make a take on the app. Let's say tonight you think Garrett Gilbert's going to throw for 3 touchdowns and you think the Redacteds are going to win. Put it up. Throw 200 points on it and say, Garrett Gilbert will throw for 3 touchdowns. And
200 is a
Redacteds
lot for that
win.
one, but you can.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, you could go all the way up to 1,000. There are some people that are putting 1,000 points on like the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
I put 1,000 points that the Cowboys wouldn't win the Super Bowl. That one was super popular.
That's gonna go off.
Yeah, I hope so. So you can eventually you'll be able to turn your points into cash and cash out, or you can look at our store. We have some hoodies and t-shirts, stuff like that. And the best part, you can share your takes. So if you're not super confident, let's say I make a take tonight and I think Jalen Hurts is going to run for 100 yards and I say, put 100 points on it. Well, if I just share it with Jack and I share it with Zach, and both of them join the take, then I get my points back. You get 50 points if another user joins your take, and you get 500 points if you get someone else. So if you send it to your mom, your dad, your cousin, your fifth uncle twice removed, you're vibing, you're rocking and rolling, you get 500 points to spend. Takes is a beautiful way to monetize your predictions. Set the amount of points you want to wager, and you can see if others agree or disagree with you. And when your take hits, you win. Download the uSTADIUM app using the link in our bio on Twitter, on Instagram, or here, and cash in on those takes. We have some fun ones today. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Let me find them. There we go. All right, take numero uno from J Carney 15, friend of the show. Garrett Gilbert will lead Washington to a W tonight.
That's an interesting one. To say the least. I think that Washington definitely has a lot of people on the COVID list, and that's going to hurt them.
Including both of their top 2 quarterbacks. So Garrett Gilbert was on the Patriots practice squad 4 days ago, and now he's in Landover.
Now he's going to be suiting up as QB1 for a game in Landover, so that's going to be fun. I don't know specifically who's out other than that.
I believe Jonathan Allen is back. Tim Settle is back.
Okay.
The 2 quarterbacks are out. That's the big ticket. I think they got a lot of pieces back.
I think if they have most of their offense back, they'll be okay. But it's just the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles are better positioned to win this game right now.
Yeah, the Eagles are up to a 9.5-point favorite. If you want to bet on it, we have a code for you. uSTADIUM is teamed up with MyBookie, the best online sports book, to bring you an awesome exclusive promo. If you go to mybookie.website/bet-with-uSTADIUM, you can set yourself up for success by doubling your first deposit, minimum of $45. When using the promo code uSTADIUM at MyBookie. That's promo code uSTADIUM, uSTADIUM, to double your initial deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie. So if you want to get in on the action, bet Washington plus 9.5, bet Philly minus 9.5. I have some buddies that bet Jalen Hurts to score the first touchdown, or Devonta Smith to score the first touchdown, or Goddard to score the first touchdown. If you want to bet on it, go to MyBookie. My dad got in on the MyBookie thing, and he bet some money over the weekend. Thankfully, he didn't listen to me. He didn't bet the over on the Broncos-Bengals game, which...
Oh, boy.
We'll talk about that game in a little bit, because holy Jesus Christmas. Okay, anyways. Yeah, I think Philly wins. I do think Washington covers, though. I think Washington keeps a close division game. The usual sort of deal, the sort of ticky-tack BS that happens in these
division games are wild. Like, especially with this division, too. Like, it looks like, oh, this isn't really a game that belongs in prime time or anything like that. And then you watch it, and, oh, it looks like it might actually turned out to be a pretty good game overall. So, you never know. So, we'll see what happens in that regard. Splash, I think you're muted, so...
Okay, there we go. We're back. So, yeah, I think with Washington, it's always goofy with the divisional games. Shout out to Austin in the chat. Your Rams play tonight.
So, they do. We'll touch on that soon.
Both of your Rams play tonight. So, shout out to them. I would roll Washington plus 9.5. It's a big number for a division game, and I don't think the Eagles... I've talked about on the show that I think the Eagles are like a very I like the Eagles a lot this year because I think they have an identity, and I think I actually I think they know what they want to do. When Jalen Hurts is in the game, when Miles Sanders is in the game, they know what they want to do. They have an awesome offensive line, they have an awesome defensive line, even with missing pieces like Brooks and Graham. But they know how to win games, but I don't know if they know how to blow teams out. This is a kind of like the end of last season with the Chiefs, early this season with the Chiefs, that they would just win a bunch of games, but they were never covering. But I don't think they cover 9.5, but I do think they win. And if they win, the Eagles will be the number 7 seed in the playoffs.
Strange times.
Yeah, and they would currently be lined up, I believe, to face the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think
that would be. I think the Cowboys would steamroll them, which sucks in that case because I kind of like the 7th team being added, but I don't like if it was a divisional matchup, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's say in 2019 it would have been Rams Packers. I'm cool with that. I'm always down to watch more Aaron Donald, right? But if it was
you could stick with the Rams last year. They played because I think last year was the first year with the expanded playoff field, and you had the Rams Seahawks in round 1. So
yeah, but like, see that would have happened regardless. But if it was like who was the 2 seed last year? Yeah, Saints, right? So if it was, I don't know, Saints and Panthers, like that's a weird 2-7 matchup because the teams are like there's a pretty big gap between those teams. With a 3 and a 6, there's not usually quite as big of a gap there. So I think this year, if it was Dallas and Philly or Dallas and Washington, I wouldn't really like that game. But if it's Dallas and New Orleans, well, I don't think New Orleans is very good, but I don't think New Orleans will compete with Dallas. But if it was, say, Dallas and Minnesota or Dallas and Seattle, I would be much more down for that. Or if it's Seattle or Dallas and San Francisco or whatever the matchup may be, I'd be interested in it. So with that said, I'm going to say Habanero. I don't think Philadelphia is good enough to say like guaranteed victory for them, but I think they're better than Washington is.
Yeah.
Fair?
That's fair. Completely fair.
All right. Number 2, we have FTV 1939. He's not talking about water for the first time in a long time. He says Spider-Man wasn't as good as everyone says, with the wink emoji.
I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither.
I'm waiting for the COVID scare to die down right now, or that and just the general hype around the movie. It's gonna be crowded. It's gonna be packed. I don't really want to watch it in like a crowded, packed theater.
I might go see it tomorrow. If my plans fall through, I might go see it tomorrow. Who knows? So, who knows? Charger Horse 34 says Justin Herbert wins the MVP.
I can smell a little bit of bias in there.
Yeah.
And there's no denying that Justin Herbert's having a fantastic season. But right now I kind of get the sense that guys like I think what happened on Sunday probably really hurt Tom Brady's MVP chances.
Helped Aaron Rodgers because he was awesome.
Helped Aaron Rodgers. There's talk about Jonathan Taylor.
Cheeks.
Yeah. There's talk about Jonathan Taylor potentially doing it, who had a fantastic game on Saturday. There should be more talk about Cooper Kupp. I think he should be having he definitely is having an MVP type season, but just no one's really talking about it. Justin Herbert, I mean, it's a tough call. It's a really tough call.
See, I think he's kind of out. I think at this point in the season, you can kind of start crossing names off your list. So the list is probably Brady, Rodgers. I think Kyler's out. I think Mahomes might be out. If the Chiefs finish 13-4, I think Mahomes has a shot at it. But Mahomes hasn't been earth-shatteringly good. Yes, I know he had 400 yards the other day. I get it. I watched the game live with Jack, but that wasn't like a vintage Mahomes game. That was just a Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill went absolutely nuts, as I said about 15 times on the broadcast. So I think with Mahomes, he has a shot. The door isn't totally closed there. I don't think the door is totally closed on Matt Stafford, and I don't think the door is totally closed on Taylor and Kupp. Defensive player, I don't think this year. So to me, there's the two front runners are Rodgers and Brady, and then Taylor's behind them, and then you have some fringe guys. So Mahomes isn't. I would say isn't
You,
eliminated yet. Cup's not eliminated yet. Stafford's not eliminated yet. But then you go through the rest of the league, and like Mac Jones isn't going to win it. Burrow's not going to win it. Lamar's not going to win it. Herbert's not going to win it. And keep in mind, there's a 2-game difference between the Chiefs and the Chargers. I cannot see a world that the Chargers win the division, or if Herbert wins the MVP without winning the division.
yeah.
So if they win out and the Chiefs lose out, highly unlikely. But like,
And I mean, you're still seeing games where Herbert's balling out like this, and the Chargers are still finding ways to lose. So
and by the way, the Chiefs hold the tiebreaker over the Chargers because the Chargers have an extra loss to Denver. So the Chargers would have to win out. So they play the Texans this week, which they'll win.
that's a win.
They play the Raiders week 18, I
That's
believe.
probably a win.
And I think they play Denver at some point too. Yeah, they play. I'm pretty sure they play the Raiders week 18 and they play the Broncos week 17. So in theory, you should win all 3 of those games, but you need the Chiefs to lose twice. They play Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and friggin' Vegas, not Vegas, Denver. So they're gonna beat Denver. Yeah. So you need them to lose out essentially.
Yeah.
So sorry, Chargers fans. Sorry, Justin Herbert. Sorry, Charger Horse 34. He's not winning the MVP this season. He's had a good season. He might be a Pro Bowler.
We're not denying that he's had a good season. He's
But-
probably going to make the Pro Bowl. I think I predict him to make it, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, that should be fun. Because I think Burrow's been really good this season. It's tough because you have, I think, 4 quarterbacks, and with Allen, Herbert, Burrow, and Mahomes, 3 of those 4 are going to make it. Like, I don't think Lamar makes it, or Mac Jones, or Ben, or Baker, or Carr, or Teddy, or Tannehill wins. So it's going to be 3 of those 4. I just don't know who of them gets left out. Although what's probably going to happen is Mahomes is going to be one of the 4, or one of the 3 that makes it. The Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, so that 4th person, let's say it's Burrow. Burrow joins the Pro Bowl when Mahomes goes to the Super Bowl. So what do I know? Our last one for today, we have Antifa JP. This one screams some bias. He says the NFL effed the Seahawks with the delayed game.
Sorry that the Rams players got COVID despite doing everything that they could to avoid it. Literally everything they could. Sean McVay has talked about how everybody's vaccinated. He's talked about how everybody's either asymptomatic or has mild systems. And he kind of said, I think he said in the press conference too, like it was scary because the team was doing literally everything they can. They were following protocols,
right?
Everything. Pretty much. I could go through the whole list, and he said that they were doing everything that they could, and people are still getting it.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst.
It's terrible. It's
like, with, say, Denver last year, they had all their quarterbacks missing. Well, they weren't following the rules, right? Or the Ravens, when they had all of their players missing. You can blame that on one strength coach, right? Yeah. There is a person in the facility that can be blamed for that.
One person gets it and it just spreads like wildfire.
Mm-hmm. And this year, with everyone being vaccinated, or was it 90% of the league being vaccinated?
Something like that. There's
like the Joey Bosa's of the world and Cole Beasley's that aren't vaccinated and will miss games this Sunday.
Cole Beasley actually got COVID too.
Yeah.
So that's
congratulations to Cole Beasley. You caught something. But actually, so obviously I can push things on the app. I was this close to pushing Bills to be without all-pro receiver on Sunday because technically Cole Beasley is an all-pro receiver. He was he was on one ballot last year. I think it was Peter King. Peter King had put him on as a slot receiver. He voted him on his all-pro team.
He had a better year last year.
He did. He wasn't an all-pro caliber receiver by any means.
Definitely not.
But you're telling me that he was on the same tier of receivers as Justin Jefferson last season? No.
What are you doing?
No, that's wrong. Justin Jefferson's gnarly. He should be an all-pro this year. But that's beside the point. So
I will say
there's some takes.
I will say the Seahawks definitely are not in a favorable situation because, it still sucks You
Mhm.
got you gotta because of this delay, the Rams players now there's only like 3 people on their COVID list now that are not going to play in this game. You had Ramsey get activated. You had Von Miller just get activated today. You had OBJ get activated. There was people that like Stafford and Cup that were never even placed on the list, but a lot of their big players, most of them at least, are now because of this break able to test out is what the new protocol is, and they're able to play in this game now. Whereas Seattle, they're going to be missing Tyler Lockett, they're going to be missing Alex Collins.
Mhm.
It's not good for Seattle that this happened because now they're having their own players test positive, and
Mhm.
initially it wasn't going to be a problem, but the game had to get moved back. So I will say it's definitely not a favorable situation for the Seahawks, but you never know. Divisional games, crazy things
Yeah,
can
you
happen.
never know. Yesterday, we thought the Browns were gonna win or the Raiders were, like, killing the Browns, and then the Browns have this they force a fumble, and they intercept a car. It's like, "The Browns are gonna win, the Browns are gonna win, the Browns are gonna win," and then the Browns Brown, and the best pure runner in the NFL gets a loss of 1 on a 3rd and 3. You punt the ball back to Carr, and Carr is like, "Boom, boom, 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 boom," and then Daniel Carlson, with ice in his veins, nails a field goal, timeout, nails a field goal again. Unbelievable sequence there.
Strong effort from Nick Mullins, I will say. He
Yeah.
definitely played well,
I
at
have
least
a
in certain
question for you.
situations.
I have a question for you. Through 17 starts, Patrick Mahomes has the most passing yards in NFL history.
Mhm.
Name who's second on that list through 17 starts.
Through 17 starts, has the most passing yards.
Yes.
Is it Justin Herbert?
No.
I know he's up there though, but
Yeah, he set the record for like most through first 2 seasons.
okay. I don't know.
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins.
It's
You
such
know,
a weird one.
I think it's because he played like an entire year for San Francisco, so I probably should have figured that.
Yeah, it's like he started like a bunch of random games for them. Was
Jimmy G tore his ACL in
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, he wasn't super well, okay, I wanna say he was productive from a yard standpoint, but the Niners didn't win, so no one cares, right? If you have,
Exactly.
like, 400 yards and you win, it's like, "Oh, yeah, what a game." But if you have 400 yards and you lose, right? Although he does own the Raiders, so
This is true.
yeah, that was a 31-3 game? His first ever start was against the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders at the time, and he just
I remember
absolutely
this
dropped just all the male fortitude, just dropped it on the state of California.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yes,
that
so
was a
congratulations
game
to Nick
where it's
Mullins.
like you don't expect it to happen,
The
but it's
real
crazy when it
BDN
does.
right there, the real BDN.
This is true. This is
True
true.
you fools. So, what a time to be alive. Done with takes. What's next on the plate?
I think we talk about the we did a reaction to the Thursday game, so we won't really stay on that for too long. That was a heck of a battle though between Herbert and Mahomes. Kelsey obviously stealing the show though in that one. I think
Kelsey
he
went
was
nuts. Hill went
yeah.
nuts. That was such a fun game. All the stupidity on the fourth down failures, that was fun.
That was
That was a
fun
good
though.
football game.
Yeah.
I had this thought yesterday, um, while watching Bears Vikings. What is the worst game this season? Like if you had a friend that has never watched a football game and you want to get them involved in football, what would be the best game for them to watch? And what would be the worst game for them to
Rams
watch?
Chiefs would be the best game.
Okay,
I'm gonna
this
say
season,
that
this
now.
season, this
Okay,
season.
this season. Honestly, probably Chargers Browns. We'll stick within the high scoring category. That was a
That
good
was a
game.
fun one.
That
That
was
was a
a
fun one.
really good game.
Um, Chargers Steelers, I think it's an honorable mention because that one just went ape shit. In the fourth quarter, I think it was 29 points were scored in the first 3 quarters, and then 29 points in the fourth quarter. Something goofy like that. Like it went
Yeah.
absolutely nuts in the fourth quarter. What do you think is the worst game?
Worst game, it's a tough call. There were some candidates this week. There were some candidates last week. Definitely when the Jags got shut out, that was not fun.
Oh no. Oh,
Um,
Titans Jags, I think might be the answer. That game was
what's the
just
lowest
disgusting.
scoring? That was a bad game too. What's the lowest scoring? There was a game that had like a
Is it
3 point first
Saints-Bucks?
half. No.
I think the
Oh, that
Ravens
was
Bears
bad.
game was like 7-3 at the half.
That's a good question. There was a game that had like a 3-point.
Saints Bucks, I think, was 3-0 at the half, maybe 6-0. There have been some really bad games. If you watch the Jets on a weekly basis, watching the Panthers, oh my goodness, they are so. Oh, I think the correct answer, regardless of the number
Here's
of points scored, is Panthers Falcons. Both of those
yeah.
teams are absolute cluster Fs, just disastrous.
Here is a rather specific answer to a specific question. I think the worst game between good teams, this is back at least when the Seahawks were decent this year, was the Rams Seahawks game week 5 on Thursday. That was just all over the place. It was ridiculous. Steelers Lions, that's a bad one.
Okay. Yes, but also I think the Lions are like kind of fun to watch.
I enjoy watching the Lions this year. I really do.
I love Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell's like.
I got the sense when we played the Lions this year, I was like, if there's any game that Dan Campbell and the Lions want to win, it's this one. They want to get. Oh snap! We got breaking news. Le'Veon Bell to the Bucks pending physical.
Ring a ding ding, that Le'Veon Bell, everyone. It's funny how the Bucks have like Hall of Famers from like 5 different teams, but none of them are famous for being on the Bucks.
Yeah,
other than maybe Mike Evans.
I still think of Le'Veon Bell when he was on the Steelers.
Jets legend, Chiefs legend, Ravens legend, now Bucks legend. Unbelievable. Is there another team that he was on? I don't think so.
I think you pretty much covered it.
Man, that man scored a touchdown. Man, Le'Veon Bell scored an NFL touchdown this season with the Ravens. That just makes me sick. Like, the number of things that had to go wrong for Le'Veon Bell to be on the football field that day just makes me sad.
It's ridiculous.
It had to be Dobbins get hurt. It had to be Edwards get hurt. It had to be Justice freaking Hill get hurt. And it's like, okay. And then you had to be up 30 points on the Chargers. And okay, yeah, we'll give L Bell a touch.
That's like Antonio Brown in his one game for the Patriots.
Yes. Patriots legend. He scored in that
Those
game.
are 2 Steelers legends right there.
Yes, 2 Steelers legends. How many players on the Bucks are like legitimate Hall of Famers? Because obviously Brady,
Tom Brady,
Brown, Gronk.
That's like Gronk. Gronk is like the 2 obvious answers.
Is Mike Evans a Hall of Famer?
I think he's close.
He's been uber productive. Like he's
been wide receiver 1 for a really long time there.
Yeah.
So
and Demarcus Cousins, is he a Hall of Famer? Rams
maybe.
legend.
I think if he wins the Super Bowl in 2018, he's definitely in the discussion.
Levante David, is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't know.
Man, it sucks with David because he's just a one-time All-Pro. I think he's a one-time All-Pro, one-time Pro Bowler. And it just sucks because he was the 3rd best linebacker every single season. Like, you have Wagner and Kuechly. Those guys are slam dunk, easy, no doubt, inner circle Hall of Famers. And you have Patrick Willis at the early part of David's career. And then you're like, well, David was always 3rd to them. Is he going to get in? Because you look at other positions and you say, like, was Breeze ever the best quarterback in the NFL? Well, probably not. But he was number 2 or number 3 behind Brady and Peyton. You know, like if you start from 06 to the end of his Saints tenure, Peyton was better. Peyton and or Brady were better almost every season. There were obviously a couple, like Breeze should have won the MVP in 09, right? Breeze was better than Brady in 18, stuff like that. But like, at what point do you just start saying he wasn't good enough? Or do you say, like Zach Thomas, right? Is Zach Thomas going to make the Hall of Fame? I think he should, but he was the 3rd best linebacker for an era. But the best 2 linebackers are guys that are probably starting for the all-time team with Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Derek Brooks was overlapped for a time there as well. So I don't know. This Bucks team is loaded. Like, if you got prime versions of like Brady, which prime version of Brady might be this season, then you get L Bell in there now, Brown, Godwin, rest in peace. Godwin's season sucks that he tore his ACL.
Yeah,
Evans,
I guess
Gronk.
We can touch on that game. I'm going to be honest, because Saints Bucks.
What a disaster!
What
a disaster of a
something about the Buccaneers and the Saints. Like, they just can't get it done against New Orleans, and
unless it's in the playoffs.
Yeah, unless it's in the playoffs, but in like regular season games, like
0-4. Just 0-4, Brady. Good stuff, Brady. It's so weird. Like, I picked the Saints plus 11.5 yesterday, and I'm like, are the Saints really going to win this game? And I was and I was watching the fantasy show on Sunday, and Chris was making jabs at Stefan, like, yeah, we're gonna beat you, this, that, the other, and I'm like, the Saints are gonna win this game.
The Saints are going to find a way. They're going to find a way.
I don't know how, but they're gonna win this game, and it's just
and
shout out to the NFL.
You know how they won it? Shutout. First time in 255 starts that Tom Brady puts up a goose egg on the board.
First time at home ever, Foxborough or Ray J. That I can't believe.
That game was such a disaster. Like I can't think of one good thing about that game.
And then like the Saints, you think in a lot of blowouts, like it's not even a blowout. In a lot of games that a team gets shut out, the other offense is able to like move the ball a little bit. Taysom Hill was like stuck in mud. Like that's just great. The Bucks played a whale of a defensive game, and the Bears last night played a whale of a defensive game. But it just sucks because their offense could not move the darn football.
The Saints won this game with 3 field goals total. That was the scoring for that entire game. 3 field goals. Disaster.
How do you lose the game that the other team doesn't score a touchdown?
And it's Tom Brady on the other on that sideline. Just
this is ridiculous. That game was so stupid. I think that's the game that actually I changed my answer. Seahawks Packers would be my answer for dumbest game of the season, because that's one that I got hyped for, and that's one I could very easily say this is going to be a good game. This is going to be a good game. If you go into watching the Jets or watching the Panthers or watching the Falcons or watching the Texans or watching the Jags or watching the Raiders or watching the Browns a lot of weeks or watching the Ravens the last few weeks, you are expecting to be disappointed. That was expecting the game. And then Seattle
Green Bay was the game that you reminded me of. That's I was trying to think of it earlier. That's the game where they only scored 3 points in one half.
I'm ashamed to be an owner, a shareholder of the Packers right now, because that game was such a disaster. The Packers won, but like Rodgers was terrible. Russ was somehow worse, and we're gonna get.
I think this was Russ's first game though, back from
it was from his finger injury. Yeah. So speaking of bad quarterback play, Jack, what is the worst torture imaginable for you? Like, what is something so heinous that like if you had to torture Chargers fans to it, like you wouldn't do it? You think that's too bad for Chargers fans, or too bad for Ducks fans, or too bad for like Angels fans, Giants fans, Seahawks fans alike? Something that's so gosh darn over the top bad that you just wouldn't deal with it.
That's a good question.
I have a segue for this,
So like what would I do though? It's torture pretty much.
Yeah. What is the number one thing that is so torturous that you wouldn't even do it with people?
I mean, it was bad watching the Kings get swept by the Golden Knights. So I don't think I don't know.
Well, okay, a team Kings get swept all the time. Like I'm talking about like Iron Maiden, like torture, blood. Is it Blood Eagle? Whatever the eagle thing that the Vikings would do. Not those Vikings, the Norse. So I think any torture technique in human history falls short of watching Carson Wentz on Saturday night. I love watching quarterbacks. I watch all kinds of quarterbacks. I watch college quarterbacks. I watch some high school sometimes, which is weird, but Arch Manning is fun to watch. I watch college quarterbacks. I watch NFL quarterbacks. I watch old games. I watch new games. I rewatch games on Game Pass. I do my bloody quarterback rankings every week. I didn't do them last week because of the goofy COVID stuff, but I love watching quarterbacks. Carson Wentz tried to give the ball to the Patriots, not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 different times in 14 pass attempts. He was asked to do nothing, and he still tried to tank away the entire game. He tried to tank away the entire season, because if the Colts lose that game, They were out of the playoffs, but now they are in the playoffs. They're the I believe 5 seed.
I think so. Somewhere up
Oh,
there. Let me
the
look.
Chargers are the 5 seed. No, the Colts are the 5 seed because they're 6-3 in conference. So the Colts are the 5 seed. The Ravens hold the tiebreaker of the Colts, but they don't hold the tiebreaker because it's a 4-way tie right now. Screw you, NFL. But Carson Wentz was so unbelievably ghastly that I know Alex made a post on the app today and he said a running back is never more valuable than a quarterback. And I said, you're right. You're right. Carson Wentz was more valuable to the Patriots and the Eagles, two entirely different organizations, than he was to the Colts. It was abysmal. There are a few words. He had a 26 PFF grade. That's really hard, man. That is really hard.
PFF grades are like, I can't think of a good comparison, but it's like one of those things that it's like you have to try to fail.
Yeah, it's like when you have a passer rating below 39.6. Like, okay, 39.6, you get it. Like that's okay. You know, that's what you get if you like throw in it, or like Corey Bojorquez, Rams legend Corey Bojorquez has a playoff pass rating of 39.6. Carson Wentz has a playoff pass rating of 39.6. Carson Wentz threw 4 passes. Corey Bojorquez threw 1 pass, and it was a spike in the Bills-Texans playoff game. But Wentz was so bad, and he ended up with a passing touchdown, but it was on like a little like touch pass, like the Chiefs thing that they do. So it's like, okay, no skill is involved in that play. If he had handed it off, it wouldn't be a passing touchdown, but it counts as a passing touchdown to Nyheim Hines. Then he had one really nice throw that he maybe a touch too high to Mo Alley Cox in the end zone, but that was a perfect throw. Then other than that, he legitimately threw the ball to the Colts players 4 times. So that put Davis Mills, like, I hate watching Davis Mills, man.
Davis Mills is not very good at football.
Oh man, I love watching quarterbacks, but Davis Mills makes me question like my life decisions. So I wish these guys nothing but the best, but Wentz needs to be better next week against the Cardinals.
Wentz needs to be a lot better. But Jonathan Taylor, he was the star of the show in that game. I think Jonathan Taylor I think he's really like we mentioned this earlier. He's a dark horse MVP candidate.
I don't even know if he's a dark horse MVP candidate at this point.
Yeah, at this point, he's probably up there.
The official NFL Twitter account has him in the bio. It's like JT for MVP ? And that's
the last running back.
I don't know. He might.
The last running back that was in that kind of discussion that I can remember was Todd Gurley. By this point in the season,
I had Derrick Henry last year. Well, okay.
Well, Derrick Henry too.
Let me take that back. But Aaron Rodgers was so far ahead of everyone last year, it didn't matter. Derrick Henry could have run for 30,000 yards, and I don't think he would have gotten MVP votes last season. But see, I think with the running back MVP thing, I'm not opposed to it most years, but it does take a year that the quarterbacks kind of suck collectively. Like, Jack, who's the best quarterback this year, weeks 1 to 15? Like, who has played the best?
It's either Rodgers or Brady.
Okay.
Probably Brady, only because even though like they both have stinkers this year. Honestly,
Rodgers
sucked in week 1.
He was awful, and then he was even worse against the Seahawks, and they actually won that game. And he missed a game against the Chiefs, so he's had 2 just absolutely awful games, and he missed a game. Brady has had some stinkers in there. He wasn't very good this week.
They both have had stinkers, honestly.
And Joe Burrow is the number 1 graded quarterback right now. Joe Burrow.
I can't really name but it's definitely between the two. But I can't really name a single quarterback this year that hasn't had at least one stinker this year.
And there's no Deshaun Watson, because I have a theory. I have 2 2 conspiracy theories in the NFL. First off, this one is
tinfoil hats on, people.
Yes, tinfoil hats on. Un momento, por favor. Okay, tinfoil hat. First off, this one is 100% facts. If you disagree, you're wrong. Arthur Smith just forgot that Kyle Pitts changed his number from 84 in college to 8 in the NFL. So this is why Cordell Patterson's the best player in the NFL. So, hold up. Leonard Fournette's on IR?
Yeah, he was hurt in the game.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll touch on that again.
Okay.
Well, I guess we already mentioned that game, but yeah, that was I think another pretty big reason why the Buccaneers lost is because Mike Evans got hurt. I don't know what's happening to him. I think he might go on IR, but he's not done. Godwin tore his ACL. His year's over, and Fournette's going on.
There we go.
Is this the conspiracy frog?
Yes, the conspiracy frog. Okay, first conspiracy: Arthur Smith doesn't realize that Kyle Pitts is not wearing number 84. That explains it. That is 100% facts. This one is slightly less so, and I totally lost my train of thought. What was the last quarterback we were talking about?
It was either Rodgers or Brady, I think.
I said something about Burrow.
Burrow was the number 1 guy.
Yes. Oh frick! What was it? I had this beautiful point all mapped out, and I forgot what it was.
We just forgot.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Here it is. Okay, let me get the. Okay. Boop. Okay. Here's my other. You know what? Forget this. Okay. Go Braves. My second conspiracy theory is that Deshaun Watson being out of the NFL has removed any sort of consistency out of the NFL. Last season, he did not have a PFF grade below 60. That is really impressive. That is, he had a good week, not even a good week. He was average to above average all 16 games of the season. That is really, 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 really hard to do. Brady doesn't do that. Peyton in his prime didn't do that. Breeze in his prime didn't do that. Russ doesn't do that. Mahomes doesn't do that. Even bloody 18 Mahomes didn't do that because he had that one awful, well, they scored 40 points, but he wasn't Mahomes against the Patriots that season. So that's my second conspiracy theory, that Deshaun Watson has sucked out any consistency at the quarterback position
from QBs. Yeah, and I don't think you're wrong either. So okay.
So conspiracy frog goes away.
I think.
Do I have any other conspiracy things I could point at? Conspiracy water bottle, conspiracy deer. Not sponsored.
I'm going to try not to drop it this time. Conspiracy Xbox controller.
Yes. Oh, frick. I just broke my ring light. Conspiracy ring light.
Conspiracy mouse.
Conspiracy empty water bottle.
I don't know what else I got.
Wait. I gotcha. I will raise you one right now.
Nothing
Conspiracy talking snake.
Oh my goodness. I'm not going to be able to take you seriously as long as that thing is on the screen.
Comment a name for him.
Yes, let's name him
conspiracy snake.
Who's that one? Kyrie Irving.
Who?
Who's that one NBA player that like leaves a million teams? I don't think it was Kyrie. Was it Durant?
Like snake? Yeah. I mean, Durant would get snake emojis.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of that one player who was like, he left Golden State after a while. So
I mean, there's Demarcus Cousins.
Yeah, he's up there.
Lakers legend Demarcus Cousins. Okay, if you're still watching us, comment a name for him. I don't have one. I might call him Conspo, the conspiracy snake. I like snakes. I have a couple hanging. Actually, we could do a tier list of my snakes one day.
Oh my goodness, this show has lost all control. Yeah. Let's talk. I don't know where we're at right now.
Colts did beat the Patriots in that game. We talked about Sunday night. We talked about Thursday night. Monday night games. Vikings Bears was just weird.
I'm going to be honest with you. I just had that one on in the background. I didn't really pay too much attention to it.
I think I watched 3 quarters. Like I watched the first quarter and like, this is the stupidest game of all time. I watched the third quarter. This is the stupidest game of all time. And I watched the fourth quarter. Justin Fields showed some things. Kirk Cousins had an interception that is in the annals of history, one of the worst I've ever seen. I did not know that Deion Bush was a punt returner on that play. Jakeem Grant was, I think did he muff a punt? No, Damari Bird muffed a punt.
Yeah, Bird muffed a punt. We had I think my favorite tweet of that game was when Justin Fields fumbled, and I was like, "'Tis the season of giving."
Yeah,
as in just
Montgomery fumbled, and Cousins had the awful interception. And shout out Amir Smith-Marset, my guy. First NFL catch is a touchdown. Congratulations, big dog. So love from the Hawkeye State there. So The other game, Vegas Browns, we kind of touched on that. Derek Carr threw an ugly interception. Myles Garrett had no sacks, but he did have 6 pressures. AJ Cole had an unbelievable punt. Shout out to AJ Cole. Shout out to the is it 18? Let me think. 5, 11. Is there 6 Browns or 5 Browns? I think it was 5 Browns. 10, 13, 16, 18 players that have made the Pro Bowl so far. Let me try to name them. Here we go.
From the Browns?
Brady. Not well.
You're going to try to name all of them. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Brady, Cup, Donald, Kelsey, Taylor for the overall NFL. Batonio, Teller, Chubb, Garrett, Ward, who got mossed yesterday for the Browns. Cole, Perriman, Crosby for the Raiders. Jefferson, Cook, Smith for the Vikings, and then Jakeem Grant and Robert Quinn. Shout out to
Robert
Rams
Quinn
legend.
is having a hell of a season.
15 sacks now?
15 sacks. I miss him. I was upset when we let him go. But it's good to see he's still
he's having
an
unbelievable season. So
despite Chicago being Chicago.
Yes, this is true. This is true. This is true. I love how I'm like all messed up because I did like turn my hat around. So it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so we've covered all the primetime games. There's 2 on tonight that we'll touch on later, or that we'll. I guess we already talked about both of them, and we're gonna we might have a show on about half an hour. So Ravens Packers, Heartbreak City, once again. Going for 2. I agree with the decision. I hated the play call. I hate rollouts on 4th downs or on gotta have it downs. I wish Huntley had seen Marquise Brown screaming across the back of the end zone. That made me sad. Congratulations to the Packers. They're the only team to clinch a playoff spot so far. The Lions shocked the world and beat the Cardinals.
We didn't touch on that. The Lions,
they slapped them. They did unholy things to a football team.
What in the world happened to the Arizona Cardinals?
Jared Goff dropped his nuts on them. That's what happened.
As he has done before. Goff has never particularly had a problem against the Cardinals. His one loss to Arizona was
not rookie season.
Yes, it was his rookie season. It was 2016, week 17. The Rams lost 44-6. Jared Goff played that game.
I guess that was his second season because he didn't have a win without McVay until the Vikings.
That was his rookie year. That was his rookie year in 2016 when he got drafted. But he didn't start a game until week 10, and then he didn't, or was it week 9? He didn't start until.
He didn't have a win without McVay until this.
No, season. It was week 11. Because what happened was. Yeah, 2016 was his rookie year. 2017.
Oh, wait. Okay, so this is one that it doesn't count as a start. Oh,
it did. It did count as a start. It did count as a start, I think.
Okay. So you guys beat the Cardinals, but he didn't start the game early in the season, and then he started the game and he got
yes. In 2016, week 3, I think it was. We beat, or it was week 4. It was week 4. We destroyed.
This is a really good Cardinals team too. Like just coming off the NFC title game.
Yes, but Case Keenum played in that game for us. He was the starter. Goff did not play.
Vikings legend, Browns legend.
By week 17,
Chiefs legend. Keenum? Did he? Oh, I'm looking this up.
I don't remember where he even is right now.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, he's on the Browns right now.
By week 17 of the 2016 season, Goff was the starter. Jeff Fisher was out, but the Rams had John Fossil being the he was the special teams coordinator. He was acting as interim head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's his only loss to Arizona ever.
Fun. Okay, here's the transaction report for Case Keenum. Cut by the Texans, added to the practice squad by the Texans, put on a future contract by the Texans, waived by the Texans, acquired by the Rams, waived by the Rams, cut by the Rams, practice squadded by the Rams, signed by the Texans, acquired by the Rams, re-signed by the Rams, signed by the Vikings, signed by the Broncos. In the last 2 seasons, he played with Washington in 19, started 8 games. He played for Cleveland the last 2 years, had the start on Monday night or Thursday night football earlier in the season. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Case Keenum. We had Nick Mullins yesterday. That was exciting. We touched on that.
We did.
So congratulations to the Lions. Niners,
But
Falcons. There's
Arizona, I still feel like there's a lot like that has to be figured out there, because I think it might be, yes, St. Louis Rams legend. Might be time to hit the panic button, honestly, if you're Arizona, because now what happens is if the Rams win tonight, Arizona's lead on the NFC West is now a tie. I think Arizona actually might still have the tiebreaker there because their
Arizona
divisional
has the
record is better.
tiebreaker because you
But
lost to San Francisco.
yes, so they're 3-1. We're 2-2 in the NFC West this year. That could change obviously because we play Seattle, but
yes,
this is at the end of the day, tiebreakers don't matter if the Rams eventually do take the lead, and they are playing Minnesota, who I wouldn't say are in the best spot right now.
Yeah, they won yesterday because it was the Bears.
Yeah,
Cousins was awful. Cousins was bad. Cook didn't do a whole lot again. Jefferson wasn't actually. What situation is more shocking to you? Joel Bitonio, career left guard, has never played any meaningful snaps at any other position, moves over to left tackle and is the highest graded tackle of the highest graded left tackle of the week. Or Thomas Graham plays his first game of organized football since the 2020 Rose Bowl, so January 2020, goes through the entire pandemic, opts out of the 2020 season, goes in the draft, 6th round pick by the Bears, doesn't play until week 15, and is the number 2 graded cornerback this week. What's more shocking?
It might be the second one, only because that's a long time to not play any football. That's a
Thomas
really
Graham,
long time.
I applaud you. I gave you an A on I give the Bears an A for the draft pick. He was I think 150 number 155 on my board, so about 70 picks in value according to my board, and he came in and was unreal. He had 3 pass breakups. The Vikings tried to pick on him. Cousins tried to pick on him, and he said, "LOL, psych. I'm a nope." 90 PFF grade as a rookie in his first NFL action, preseason or otherwise. I was in awe. I was in awe. He was spectacular. Big shout outs to him. Big shout outs to Joel Bitonio moving over to left tackle, and he was awesome. Just props to everyone involved there. So also props to JC Treader and Ezra Cleveland. Ezra Cleveland, go Boise.
So I don't know where we're going from here, honestly. We did touch on both games tonight.
Let's see. We have Jags,
yes,
Texans, not worthwhile.
Haven't mentioned this yet. Jake Funk is back.
Oh, forgot to...
Let me say why. I'm actually really happy for him though, because his recovery has just been unreal. He was supposed to be on season-ending IR, like his year was over. So to see him back is pretty. It's
because he tore his ACL, right?
Did he tear his ACL? If that's an ACL tear and he's back now, oh boy.
I don't know I don't remember what his injury was. I think it was ACL.
I don't think it was an ACL tear. It was something that was
Jake Funk.
Something that was deemed to be season ending. Flash does not like Jake Funk apparently, so
I do like Jake Funk. I just think it's torn hamstring.
Torn hamstring. Okay. Yeah. So
okay. So good props to Jake Funk. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm happy to see him back. I don't know if he's going to have a huge role. I am expecting Sony Michel to be the lead back, even though Darrell Henderson is back. I still think Sony Michel's RB1.
For sure. Let's see. Any other games? Let me look at my board here. Okay, Ravens lost. Colts game we talked about. Jags, Texans. Congratulations, Davis Mills.
Yeah, you.
Jags have the number 1 pick. Congratulations. Bengals beat the Broncos. Prayers up to Teddy Bridgewater. Texans, don't want to talk about it. Titans. How do you lose?
That was such a weird loss for the Titans.
There were 2 forced fumbles by corners all week. Both of them by Steelers corners. How do you... I don't even begin to think, how do you lose that game? Just the Steelers were better than the Titans for 0 minutes and 0 seconds. But the Titans self-destructed every 5 plays or so. They just imploded. It's like the Titans are bad, the Steelers are bad, every team is bad. This is just an absolute disaster.
I don't know who's good this year. I don't know.
No one's good this year besides the Chiefs.
So
all
weird.
of a sudden, I guess.
Packers maybe because they clinched. That's about
Dolphins, it. Congratulations, you beat the Jets. Big shout out. Brandon Eccles had a pick 6.
They almost lost to the Jets. The Jets, I think, scored in the first drive, so that was interesting.
Yes, I think it was 10-0 at one point.
They were Chiefs, up by 2 scores.
Yes, we talked about the Chiefs. Broncos, prayers up to Teddy Bridgewater. Chargers, we talked about it. Steelers, I don't know how you won. New England, we talked about it. Buffalo, they beat the Panthers. We didn't touch on the kicking situation in Carolina.
Oh no,
that was an absolute disaster. Like, okay. The thing is, I'm not taking a shot at the guys because I know that kicking is very specialized, but someone on the app posted a video of them hitting a 40-yard field goal the other day. So I just thought of that, and I'm thinking, a guy on uSTADIUM can kick a 40-yard field goal, but the Panthers who pay people to do things in the NFL did not have someone. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Shout out to Mike, friend of the show, Mike. Yes. Browns, Raiders, we talked about. Jets, we talked about. Falcons, you suck. Saints, congratulations. R words play tonight. Cowboys, they beat the Giants. Mike Glennon's awful. Like, Mike Glennon it does nothing for organizations. Like, props to him for making the NFL. Props to him for like throwing touchdowns and winning some games in the NFL. He was just downright rancid the other day. Vikings, we talked about. Niners, congratulations. You beat the Falcons. Eagles play tonight. Seahawks play tonight. Panthers suck. Giants suck. Lions, congratulations. Rams play tonight. Bears suck. Packers, you beat the Ravens. Good job. Bucks are trash. Cardinals, how do you lose to the Lions? In this environment, what's the line? Frick. In this economy, and not in this economy. Oh, I need to look up the line. Script. Okay. I have it.
We're winning.
Yes. Arizona Cardinals, at this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your football game. Yes. May I see it? No. Cliff, your team sucks. No, mother. It's just the random loss to Jared Goff.
The typical loss to Jared Goff. I swear to God.
You are an odd coach, but I must say, you do win a good football game. I'm glad you got the joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a steamed hams guy. That's funny.
Are you a steamed caps guy?
I don't know.
Oh, that was such a beautiful urinating tree video.
Anyway, we should probably touch on this before we go. The NHL did recently pause their season because of the COVID outbreaks. I don't know the specific numbers, but I know it's pretty high. I know
the Red Wings had some. Did I tell you that the Ravens are technically the worst team I root for right now?
That's funny because I would say Detroit, but Detroit's on a roll.
Detroit's in the playoffs. Detroit is in the playoffs. The Cavs are top 5 in power rankings, and the Braves just won the bloody World Series. And the Ravens are losers of 3 in a row. Everyone's injured or on the COVID list. And now you're like, whoop-de-dig-em-a-dog-on-do. But I will say, this has been a really cathartic season as a Ravens fan because I really like the guys on our team. Like, I feel like emotionally invested. Like, other years, I didn't feel as emotionally invested. But this year it's like, I'm like on every game, it's like, let's do it. Let's go get them, boys. You know, like it feels like I'm in the locker room engaging with these guys. So I'm really proud of Tyler Huntley. He was a gamer. He was the quarterback of the week, 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 passing. First time in Ravens history that's happened. And we have Lamar Jackson as the starting quarterback for 3+ seasons. So
not even Lamar could do that. That's kind of ridiculous.
He did have a 4-20 game against the Colts.
But
so
let me look at the NHL really quick. Here is
the NBA also has some weird COVID stuff. The Cavs are like inundated with COVID. The Hawks have a bunch of COVID cases. The Knicks and the Nets have a bunch of COVID cases. So COVID is ransacking our sports. Boo, COVID.
I was watching this entire Kings road trip, and I was like, every team that we played against, the other team was dealing with like a huge outbreak, and the Kings aren't like alone from it either. I think Drew Doughty and Philip Deneau missed games because of getting the virus. Shout out to Garrett Sparks for stepping in and getting a huge win for the Kings, though, against Washington. That was a comeback when they were down 2-0 and they scored 3 in a row. Garrett Sparks being able to hold off Alex Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin.
Oven chicken.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
anything else we need to touch on?
I think we pretty much covered it all. I think this was just wild, and we have more games today. It's madness. It's sports, but that's what we're here for.
Yes. So. Episode 50, unreal. So update on what we're doing tonight. Jack and I will discuss if we're doing both games at once. I'm streaming both games, word to Kevin Harlan, or if we're just doing one game, or if we're doing 2 separate streams. So we will let you know. Follow us on the socials at uSTADIUM on Twitter, at uSTADIUM on Instagram. Download the uSTADIUM app on Google Play and Android, Google Play and App Store. Yeah, make sure you ring a ding ding that Le'Veon Bell. Shout out to the Tampa
Bay Buccaneer Le'Veon Bell.
The Bucky Bell. Is that a player? Bucky Bell.
Sounds like
I feel like that's
name. That sounds like a baseball name, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at like Bucky. Let me see, because like Bucky is like stereotypical baseball name. There's Bucky Dent and there's Bucky Brooks, the guy from. Okay, we got Bucky Walters, Bucky Dent, Bucky Jacobson, Bucky Brandon, Bucky Guth, Bucky Harris, Bucky Jacobs, Bucky Johnson, Bucky Williams, Bucky Vale. So big shout out to people named Bucky, particularly if your name was Bucky from birth, then big shout out there, because Bucky bleeping Dent, as he became known, is actually Russell Earl Dent. I did not know that. He's from Savannah, so Georgia Peach.
All right.
We're kind of going off the rails. World Series MVP, Bucky bleeping Dent. So with that said, everyone, remember, Aaron Donald trains with knives. Will he match? How many pressures will he get? Over 10, under 10
pressures.
Okay,
we'll get 10 pressures.
He had 14 last week, most in the season, most by in like 3 weeks.
And I think I don't know specifically who Seattle has on the COVID list, but it feels like everybody's out for them right now. So we got to capitalize, man. We have to.
Yep. So Aaron Donald trains with knives, and he beats Seahawks players. He had 6 pressures in 15 snaps in the playoff game.
Thank you guys for watching all 50 episodes. We appreciate it. We'll see.
We very much appreciate it. We need an Aaron Donald trains with knives t-shirt.
We do. We'll get one soon. Thanks for watching.